here at the segment. My name is Mark Hill, and tonight, you guys, I have a special guest. His name is Ernie, and boy, does he have a great story. So, if you could imagine in today's world where we have the pandemic and we have your normal obstacles you have to overcome, my friend Ernie here, who's going to share his story, has pretty much all of it. If you could think of depression, um, as far as weight, anxiety, the whole gamma. And he's going to take us through a story on how mountain biking really helped him out. So, without further ado, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, please help me introduce Mr. Ernie.
Hey,
Hey,
what's going
Ernie.
on, everybody? How's it going, Mark?
Good, brother. Good to see you.
Thanks.
So Ernie's got a group of writers, and they call themselves Transcend MTB. And when Ernie and I were going back and forth about getting him on the show, he was telling me basically Transcend MTB, the name, came from where he's been and where he is today and where he's going tomorrow. So I thought it was an awesome name. So yeah, Ernie, without further ado, tell the folks a little bit about yourself.
Oh, my name is Ernie Avina. I run Transcend MTB. It's started out as a local mountain bike network, and basically it was built out of a necessity to fit my needs, and it ended up fitting a lot of people's needs at the same time. Turned out to be more than I ever expected. It's something that I feel like I believe 100% in, and that a lot of people that are in the group are 100% behind it, just because it's a community that helps everybody out. It's a community that is friendly, that leaves no one behind. We take in advanced riders, we take in beginning riders. It's kind of one of those things that kind of grew out of a necessity when I started mountain biking, something that I needed. Never expected it to become what it is now. We're over 1,600 members, and the
Wow.
start about a little under 3 years now. Um, Met so many people. I've had so many stories. People reach out to me all the time, talking about their story and how their story relates to mine, and just let me know that I'm not alone and they're not alone. So this is something
Man.
that kind of became kind of an inspiration to me because of all the people that have supported me along the way. Been out on rides with guys that I shouldn't even be riding with, but in order to progress, you got to ride with the people that are riding more advanced stuff, and are able to teach you. They can tow you into the jumps, they can tow you into the trails that you wouldn't normally do without the knowledge of the trail, and such things as those, that a lot of people experience, and they're kind of keeps them looking in from the outside.
Yeah.
And I experienced kind of what I would call a season of unfortunate events that
Hmm.
kind of took me through not just a season, but a few seasons. It was a few years of knocking down, and uh, I don't know. It just one thing would happen, and then something else would become a bigger issue, to the point where on my 39th birthday, I came close to dying.
Hmm.
On my 39th birthday, I was having a stent put in due
Wow.
to a artery collapse, and it was 90%, 99% closed.
Wow.
Um,
99,
Basically,
99% closed,
99%
Ernie?
closed. Yeah, I don't know how I was
Holy
walking at
cow.
that time. So
Wow.
luckily, my wife is very persistent. I was supposed to go to the East Coast for some school for the Navy, and she managed to get me in to see the doctor to get a stress test, because I think they were pushed out about, I think it was like 4 weeks at that time before I could see
Wow.
a doctor.
Oh my
But
gosh.
because she kept calling, they said we have an opening, and I went in, expecting not much. I wasn't feeling good at the time. A lot of things had led me to where I was at. At the time, I was 398 pounds. So uh,
398. So Ernie,
2 pounds.
let me stop right there real quick because I've got a couple pictures you sent me and I want to definitely show it. And I don't know if you can see this, but man, you're lighting up over here on the comments. So you're definitely not alone. Here, I'm just gonna introduce a couple of folks that are on the podcast with us. And guys, feel free to chime in and participate, ask questions. You got this guy every other weekend. What's up, Ernest?
Yeah, I know who that guy is.
Vegas Mike. Yeah, you got Vegas Mike. What's up, guys? What's up, Vegas Mike? Love that guy. You got Nally Kylan, Ernie.
So that's my buddy Kylan. That's just his name spelled backwards.
Oh, I love that. You got Obi-Wan Todia on the line. What's up, fellas? What's up, Obi-Wan? You got Derek W.
That's
rocking
Derek
the 100%. You got Ninjas, Transcend Fam. Christopher Wu is here. The Major is here.
That's my brother right there.
Nice. You got BCB MTB. Transcend Fam is here.
Right on.
Oh, Mayor. I said Major. Mayor, he means Mayor. You got Sophia Avina. Hi, Dad.
That's my daughter.
That's awesome. You got Derek. Man, you're just blowing up. And then, of course, the guy that we got to thank for getting you on the podcast tonight. Here's Joey. Thank you so much, Joey.
What's up, man? Thank you.
And then Jonas. So if you guys are just popping on, we were just kind of getting the back history of Ernie. So we're going back. How many years ago was this, Ernie, when you're pushing? You said 380, 390.
So this was about 6 years ago. I started about 6 years ago.
6
where it
years
got really,
ago.
really, 6 years ago, it got really, really bad.
Okay. And at this point in time, you're on the mountain bike yet or not quite yet?
No. I mean, obviously at 400 pounds, it's pretty hard to even be out on a trail hiking.
Yeah.
There was a lot of issues, with the weight, for one thing, trying to get out of my depression. I was in a dark place.
Yeah. We'll definitely talk about that. Jennifer's saying, "What's up, E-Dog?"
That's my sister.
That's awesome. Thank you guys all for being on. So I'm just gonna quickly share picture here of you, Ernie, and it will be. You see that screen a little bit. So this is gonna be a picture of Ernie when he was at that weight he was talking about, I believe. Ernie, is this about that time frame right there?
That was at my youngest sister's wedding.
Gotcha. And that's got to be this picture right here.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is about the time you were getting checked up, right around this era?
No, at this time I was still, not listening.
Okay.
I believe at that point I had already had my stent put in.
Okay. The stent was in.
This was
99% included, by the way.
Yeah. So basically, the doctor said I would have had a widowmaker heart attack at the time, and basically those heart attacks you don't come back from.
Yeah. I'm glad they caught it in time, bud. That's
absolutely.
That is crazy. I'm gonna save this last picture here for the end. Obviously, well, they can see you, so I might as well just show it now. So, and then this is Ernie today. When was this taken, Ernie?
This was taken around Christmas time, I believe. It was at a friend's retirement party. And that's my oldest son with me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And how much do you weigh in this picture here? Or how much have you lost?
So, let's see. I'm bad at math. I'm 232 right now. I was 398, so 2 pounds shy of 400.
Gosh.
So basically, I don't know, somebody in the group good at math that can throw a number up.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of weight. I mean, I basically lost a whole other person.
Man.
I was carrying another person.
Wow. And going back to that day, you got the stent in, and was there something after that kind of spurred you into going in the direction that you're in today and starting that journey?
So, to tell the truth, I mean, I kind of ignored everything the doctor said. At the time, I don't think that I was really thinking that how bad it really was.
Okay.
It was hard for me to realize at the time that I was at that state. Because I mean, when you're carrying that weight and you're so unhealthy like that, you don't really notice it, but other people do. And uh, it's kind of one of those things where, like, I don't know, like I have tattoos on my arms and I look in the mirror and I don't see
Hmm.
them. And so when I was carrying all that weight, nobody would really tell me, hey, you're fat, hey, you're this, besides the doctor telling me I was overweight and I was ready to die.
Wow.
Didn't really think about it. A bunch of unfortunate events followed it. Ended up getting diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure. I mean,
Jeez.
everything. Basically, I was on my way out.
Wow.
Doctor told me, hey, fix this, fix that. You lose a little bit of weight, you'll feel better. And I was like, screw that, because I couldn't do diets at the time.
Yeah.
Every time I tried a diet, I ended up screwing around and I would eat whatever I didn't normally eat. But I was
Hmm.
eating a lot. I was eating a lot. I was eating unhealthy. I wasn't really eating very many times a day, but when I did sit down to eat, I was packing it in. I'd go to McDonald's. I get me like 4 double cheeseburgers and fries and the works.
You were mentioning that you were kind of in a dark spot. Was that what was spurring those those decisions at the time, or?
So at that time, I started getting really sick and didn't know what to do, and depression hit.
Okay.
Uh, I mean, when you see yourself like that, it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Reality kicks in, and you feel like there's no way out.
yeah, man.
You can't lose weight from one day to the next. It just doesn't happen.
Mm,
And
yeah.
so, I mean, I'm saying this by the grace of God. Uh, my brother-in-law, Chris Wu, he's in the group. He's in the group chat right now.
Mm.
Uh, he comes over to my house one day, and he's got this mountain bike that he bought, and so I'm thinking, oh, that's cool, but at 400 pounds, I don't see myself riding anything, other than on the street or, because I had bikes, but, it wasn't a mountain bike or nothing like that.
Hmm.
So uh, my brother-in-law comes over, he's got a bike, and my son gets interested. And so I talked to my son. I said, hey, well, if we get bikes, we can go ride together.
Man, I love
And
that.
so we go, and we did this. We purchased 2 bikes at Dick's Sporting Goods, and um, it was the cheapest bikes you can get because you obviously when you don't know what you're getting, you're buying a bike and didn't even have the right size or anything like that. We couldn't even test ride it. So long story short, I ended up taking it back, and Dick's gave me a really hard time trying to return them.
Mm.
And I just stood there and I never left until they gave me my money back. And Dick's Sporting Goods told me they would never sell me another bike again. I said, that's fine. I'll never buy a bike here again.
Yeah.
And so we got our bikes, returned them, and then I went to Bicycle Warehouse and I bought 2 entry-level hardtails.
Nice.
And we started riding, and then within a week, I went in and I traded mine back in, and I ended up getting one that was a little bit better, had a dropper post on it, and uh, it wasn't the best bike. They're entry level still, but
Yeah.
we started riding, and then my brother-in-law and I would ride PQ, we'd ride Hodges,
Dang.
and we didn't know any of the trails. We didn't know any of the trails, so most of the trails we found by accident because we were climbing the wrong way mostly. Uh,
Wow. And this is
it was
before like trail maps and all these other things, right? This is just
so
going out there and
there was trail forks, but I don't think we were like very knowledgeable to figure it out until we gradually started understanding like what we were looking for. Um,
wow.
and so we started writing, and it went from one day of writing, and then it started going 2 more days, and then three, and before we knew it, we were writing at least 4 5 days a week.
Wow.
And
So you guys caught the stoke early then, huh?
so yeah, my brother-in-law is a lot younger than me. I'm 45 now, but I got close to 15 years on him. And he's a climber. That kid's got some muscle in his legs, and he's a climber. He can climb even though he doesn't say. he likes it, but he can hang. And we would go to
Nice.
these places, and we were doing like basically flat trails, some minor uh, hills that we were climbing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I was hiking. If I couldn't climb the hills, I was getting off the bike and I was determined to get to the top because I wanted that downhill.
Yeah.
I wanted the reward going downhill. And so a lot of times, I mean, without kind of weight and then all the health issues that I had, blood pressure was really bad, so I get dizzy a lot.
Mm.
And so there was times when I'd be climbing up in the trails, and I would tell my brother-in-law, and I'd tell him, if I die, just let me die.
Hmm. Wow, that's where you were at mentally. Just.
Well, because I was dying at that point, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'd rather die trying to fix it
Yeah.
and be out and about and die doing something that I like than to
Yeah.
die on the couch or die on my bed or die
Right.
not even trying. And
Yeah.
so for me, it was no more options. I developed after my heart stint. I was given it was a blood thinner that was new on the market. Uh, I don't know how they really that stuff out, but it really did a number on me, and it gave me a lot of side effects.
Mm.
And I had to take that for a whole year because they were afraid of
Jeez.
having blood clots and all that stuff. And so
Wow.
I I took the medication, and as I'm taking the medication, I started developing these feelings of heart attack. And a
Really?
couple of times I ended up in the hospital. I was in the East Coast for school one year, and I got so sick that I ended up in the hospital for a few days. And I'm like, completely on the opposite coast, alone, not
Mm.
knowing what's going on.
Mm.
They had no, family's all here worried and stuff. And so just the
Mm-hmm.
stress and all that stuff it was just a nasty time.
God.
And so I ended up figuring out that, the medication caused panic attacks. And most of the time
Oh,
when I was feeling that way, it was a panic attack. And, for those people that have panic attacks, it's a real thing.
it's for
Uh,
sure real.
it's a
Yeah.
real thing. It's scary. You never get used to it because every time you have one, uh, it feels like the first time. It feels like
Yeah.
you're having it for the first time.
Man,
And
and
so
it
I
can
didn't know how to deal with
manifest.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
Oh
it can
yeah, I mean,
manifest in
I could
so
be
many
watching a
different
movie.
ways. Mm-hmm.
I could be watching like so I like horror movies, and at that point in my life, I couldn't even see a horror movie at that time because uh,
It trigger a panic attack.
it would, yeah, man. I mean, I could think myself into being sick. That's how bad it got.
Yeah.
And so I had to start figuring out, how to deal with it because medication that they give you screws you up even more. And
Mm-hmm.
I had already had that issue with the blood thinner that I didn't want to take any more medication, but I knew there was something, and I needed something. Uh, Talking to my wife, she means well, but when you don't know what's going on
Mm-hmm.
with somebody's health or mind issues, mentally, it's hard to reach that person
Mm.
because that person, to me, all I wanted was for somebody to listen. And my wife, she meant well. She
Yeah.
wanted to fix me,
Yeah.
but when you're going through mental health issues, uh, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because you feel like nobody's there to understand you,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a rough time. Put a lot of stress in my marriage.
Yeah. You
Uh,
definitely feel alone when you're going through those things. It's almost like you want someone to just listen to you so you can explain how it feels, and people don't
Absolutely,
always, yeah, people don't always know how to be there for you, so they try to fix it. Um,
absolutely. And I reached out. I knew that I needed help. I did go
Good.
see. I did go see a doctor, and that's if somebody's going through it, don't ever feel like don't let your ego or your pride hold you back
Man.
because uh, you do need somebody to hear you out, and you need the right person to hear you out because not everybody can offer you that assistance.
Yeah.
I wish I would have had this group, or I would have been in a group like this that like Transcend MTB, because there's a lot of guys in this group that, we all have gone through it. There's a lot of support in this group. I talk to a lot of guys behind the scenes on a daily basis. If we don't hear from somebody, we're on it. Hey, what's going on? Are you okay? We show support. We have a lot of military, ex-military. PTSD is not a joke.
Yeah.
I got diagnosed with that soon after I had my heart stent put in.
Gosh.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. And I did a lot of research because I was taking the minimum medication that I probably could take. And so within that point in time, I started trying to figure out, okay, what's the best thing for me? You know what I mean? Like, what can I do to better my health? And I couldn't go to the gym. Luckily, my brother-in-law comes home with a mountain bike, and the rest is history. We started riding, and I started feeling better. And I still wasn't really listening too much to the doctors. I was at that point, I was like, I'm going to do it my way. I did some stuff. Go ahead.
Ernie, do they have you on a lot of medications? Because you talked about the blood thinner and then type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure. I mean, I'm thinking there's at least possibly 3 medications there.
Well, that, and then they wanted to give me medication for the PTSD, which I refused. I mean, to tell the truth, I think the riding is the best medication you can possibly get. Being outdoors, doing an exercise, doing something that you love and you don't feel like it's an exercise, When I'm out riding, mountain biking, I don't feel like I'm working out. I feel like I'm having a good time with my buddies and we're exploring. And I mean, we do night rides on Wednesdays, and there's coming back on our night rides. We see, the wildlife that normally nobody sees because they don't come out at night,
All those eyes reflecting back from the lights.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
What's that?
I mean, if people really saw how big an owl wingspan is, I mean, they would be surprised. It's amazing to see a lot of wildlife out there. But I mean, a lot of the time it's just having communion with my friends. It's being out there and shooting the what and having fun. Totally. I can't explain the amount of love that I feel from my group. The amount of support that I get from these guys. I mean, they're like,
you're rolling deep, Ernie. You're 1,600. That's a lot of people.
1,600. And when this became an idea, so a little bit more on the health issues, and then I'll get into how this whole started, because I mean, this has just spiraled organically. Yeah. And it's becoming something that's unreal.
I love where this is going, and I also want to just go back too, because what you said about professional help. I got one of my buddies, Isaiah Bernstein. He's from a group called Trail Dogs MTB. He's in the military as well, and yeah, he says 100%. I waited way too long to look for help or even accept that there is something wrong, and man, that's so true. Especially with us as men, there's this weird stigma to not want to go seek a professional and talk about things. And I love what you said about, try to get over that, try to get some help and get to the right person, because a professional is going to be able to get rid of the stigma, help you unpack everything, and help you give you tools to maybe avoid those anxiety attacks or, prevent, fights with your significant other or whatever.
Just to understand what it is too, because I mean, most of the ones that I had, before I understood what it was, I was under the impression I was having a heart attack. Yeah. I didn't know. I never had a panic attack.
Did yours manifest as chest pain or like a heavy set feeling?
I would get clammy hands, cold. Couldn't keep my feet and my hands warm. Sometimes half my face would go numb. Jeez. And start feeling like I couldn't swallow, start feeling like I couldn't, do certain functions that are like, easy functions to have. And so at that point, you feel like, well, is this a heart attack? Is it, how does anybody know what a heart attack feels like unless you have one and survive it?
Right.
I didn't have a heart attack, so I didn't know exactly what a heart attack would feel like. because they caught it early on. And the day that they caught it, so I go in for a stress test. I'm at the hospital. My wife is waiting for me in the waiting room. And I go in, they put me on this treadmill and they expect me to like get my heart rate over like 160 or something like that.
Oh,
And so I'm on there.
yeah, that
I
challenge.
got all these little plugs all over me, and then this little graph thing's like on the side right there reading, whatever my monitor rating thing is. And so I can't get my heart rate up. It's impossible. I feel like I'm gonna fall over. I'm gonna pass out. And so at that time, the technicians that were doing the test, they tried to reach my doctor because they wanted to give me an adrenaline shot. And
Mm.
basically, the reason is to get up is because they inject you with a dye, and then they put you through the CAT scan or the tube thing that they use,
Hmm.
and it lights up all your arteries inside, and it kind of gives you an indication whether you have an issue or a blockage or anything like that. And so they're trying to give me this adrenaline shot, but they can't administer it until my doctor approves it, and they can't get a hold of my doctor, my regular doctor. And so it just
Golly.
happened to be that the head cardiologist at Sharp over off of Genesee happened to be on that floor, and they called him in, and he looks at the chart and hear the head cardiologist of the hospital yell at the technicians and cuss them out and
Wow.
ask them what are they thinking. It scared me because at
Wow.
that point I knew that at that point there was something not right.
Something.
And
Yeah, something's up.
yeah, big time, big time. I mean, my heart sank when
Jeez.
without even knowing what the readings were. And
Hmm.
so immediately they tell me that they got to prep me for surgery, and I mean, everything was like a dream because it happened so quick. I didn't have a chance to even think or say yes or no. I was just like, I'm going and I'm getting this surgery done. I didn't know what the surgery was consistent of. But basically, I found out that if that doctor wouldn't have been there, and they wanted to give me that adrenaline shot. Basically, what the adrenaline shot would have done was just exploded my heart.
Hmm. Dang. Wow.
Yeah,
Holy
crazy.
crap.
And so, luckily they didn't. There wasn't a chance for them to give it to me, and I got thrown into surgery, and a couple of days later I was out, and they were able to fix it. So, uh, I escaped death there, big
Is that
time.
like a divine intervention? I mean, they can't get a hold of your doctor who's not even there. That normal doctor probably would have said, yeah, that's fine, go for it. Give him a stress test, hit him with some adrenaline.
Oh yeah,
But
it's not my. It
luckily,
hasn't been my time. It's not my time. It's
yeah.
I've had so many near death experiences. I mean, prior to my health going downward spiral, a few years before I had that stent put in, I used to ride motorcycle street bikes,
Okay.
and I was going into work. I was working at Coronado at the time, and I was going in, and I got hit by a truck at like 80 miles an hour, almost paralyzed.
What? Jeez. On
So I
the on
walked.
the on the
So
eight
right
coming
behind,
in.
163, where it
Yeah.
merges into the 5, right behind San Diego High School. I
Yep.
got nailed. I got nailed there by a big truck, sucked me into the wheel,
Oh my god.
and so I was lucky. I'm one of those guys that you could say he's got 9 lives, or he's got something that he has yet to finish,
Yes.
because
Wow.
I had too many experiences of you know close calls, and here I am. I'm still here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got some good stuff to put out there. That's for sure. Um.
So
So yeah. Go ahead.
so that's where all the health issues with my heart and all that stuff came about. Was from
Yeah.
that stress test, and close to having a heart attack. I mean, I didn't have it, but I mean, close enough, closer than I'd ever want to get.
Oh yeah. I mean, 99% occluded. You can't get any closer than that. That's that's pretty darn.
And then yeah, basically from that motorcycle accident, it's just been a bunch of unfortunate events that led me to some of my darkest times.
Wow. So you think
To
that
the
was the
point,
catalyst of that start? Was that motorcycle accident and then trying to come back
I
from
think
that?
that's where the depression started.
Okay.
Not being able to do things, I started gaining a lot of weight. Most of my weight came from that accident.
Oh my
To
gosh.
the point where and I gained it really quick. A lot of people will will tell me I got chicken legs, and I carried all my weight above my waist because uh, I just ate whatever. During the time of my recovery from the motorcycle accident, I mean, the pain meds were abundant. Like, you just tell a doctor, hey, I'm not feeling good, this hurts. Immediately they'll prescribe you,
And then,
some sort of pain.
yeah.
Yeah, some sort of painkillers. And, those things are very addictive. They're very addictive. That's why I choose not to take medication of that sort, even if I'm in pain. There's other ways to deal with it for myself personally,
Yeah.
because I've been down that rabbit hole and I don't want to chase it again.
Wow. And then what spurred you to want to go in to see a psychologist or psychiatrist? Did you just get to a point where somebody said, "Hey, that might be a good idea," or did you seek that out on your
Well,
own?
my wife was mentioning it, and at the time, I really felt like I had no one.
Mm.
I was alone. I had
Yeah.
family, I had people all around me, but yet I was still alone.
Yeah. Yeah. I know
It
that.
was it was a dark, dark, dark time. It was a dark
Man.
time. I mean, there's sometimes I look back and just see how where I was and where I am now, mental wise.
Hmm.
uh, it's a complete difference. It's a
Yeah.
complete difference. Being able now, knowing that I can be able to share my story and not have to hide it, not have to be judged.
Hmm.
Uh, do I get emotional about it? Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, because it's real.
It's
You know,
for real. Yep.
if I didn't get emotional about it, you know, I wouldn't have an issue. You know,
Yeah. Well,
it's
you
it's an
probably.
emotional. It's emotional.
It is.
To,
Yeah.
to be basically told after the stint and another year or two of not listening to the doctors, I finally go in because I got really sick,
Mm.
and this was the diabetes was taking its toll on me, and the doctor told me, he told me, you got no more than 5 years to live, he said.
Whoa. Is this when you're on the
Yeah.
East Coast?
No, this was here.
Okay. You came
I
back and
had
then.
gone in because my diabetes had gone out of control, and
Okay.
I didn't know what to do. I'm not wanting to take the medication because I'm afraid of the side effects. And
Because
so
what
the
happened?
doctor says, he goes, you might want to talk to your wife and make arrangements.
Holy crap. Okay.
And
Wow. Jeez.
so I think I was 40 at the time. And he said, no, you don't have no more than five. Or no, that was around my 39th birthday. I think that when he told me that.
Okay.
But basically, it tells me that, and I kind of blow him off. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm
Okay.
already at the point where I don't want to live anymore. So 5 years is nothing.
Yeah. Almost at that point, it feels like a gift, right? You're like, okay, well, five's
Well, yeah, I
whatever.
mean, if it would have came earlier, it would have been better, But at the
Yeah.
time, that's how I was thinking. I
Yeah.
was thinking, what's the easiest way out? And
Yeah.
luckily, it didn't come to that. It was a thought in my head. I did think it. Can I do it? And obviously, the answer was no.
Hmm.
But it did cross my mind more than once.
Yeah. It's awesome that you share your story because you're definitely not alone. There's so many people that have been in that boat, and now, I mean, right now with the pandemic, the timing of your story is critical to really get out there to other folks who feel like you did 6 years ago.
Absolutely.
Depression and anxiety is at an all-time high, and luckily for all of us here on our mountain bike community, we've you know we've been fortunate to find this sport that brings us so much, and anyways, just really thank you again for sharing the story. Uh,
Absolutely. Anytime.
and so you're in this space. You're 39. The doctor's saying, I'm going to give you maybe 5 years. Talk to your wife. Get your things in order. What went through your mind at that point? As far as, was there that spark there then, that motivational spark that said, "Let's Ernie, let's turn this around. Let's do that," or had that not
So
hit
during
yet?
this whole time, I mean, I really wanted to turn it around. I really wanted to go to the gym, but where my mind was and where my physical health was, it was kind of like looking down a tunnel, you know, and
Okay.
I could barely see the light at the end of the tunnel. So knowing what it would take to get to the other side, it was almost get me to the point where I would just give up. And so,
Gotcha.
like I said, my brother-in-law comes over, mountain bike, uh, and it was just us riding together. You know, my sister would ride with us, my kids would ride with us sometimes, but it was mostly my brother-in-law and I that would go out and ride all the time. And it's crazy because I lost all this weight and I never did a diet. Um, I I wasn't feeling I could never do a diet. Could never do a diet. So I start doing all these test things on my own body.
Okay.
I start reversing my diabetes because I start doing research on natural ways to turn it around. And I mean, I would be on the internet 24/7 trying to figure
Hmm.
out something, right?
Wow.
And
So
so I
maybe
start seeing
so
these little things, and like it's kind of like when you're looking for an answer, but you don't get 100% from one person, but then another person mentions something that clicks and it says, you know what, I heard it from over here. So then you start putting two things together
hmm.
and you start doing things like that. And so I started doing different remedies, different herbs, different things, you know, and I go in, I get checked. My AC1 levels were super high, and the doctor says, I want to see you in a month because they're so high. I need to keep monitoring you.
Okay.
So I started doing all these things. I cut out sugar, I cut out sodas, beer, uh, starches, carbs. I
Man,
started
so you
doing
were
everything that I've been
yeah.
looking at. You know what causes certain things, and I go in, not testing or anything. I didn't test throughout that month, so I didn't know where I was. But I knew that when my blood sugars were super high, I would get really sluggish and really tired.
You could feel
And
it.
I wasn't feeling like that at that time. And so I go in to go see the doctor, and the doctor says, you're not even, he read, did my blood work and all that stuff. And he tells me, he goes, what kind of medication are you taking? And I said, what are you talking about? He says, well, you're no longer pre-diabetic. You're not even a
Whoa.
pre-diabetic. And
You
so
changed your
I was like,
hemoglobin A1C with the research and diet alone?
within a month, it turned around. And to the
Wow.
point where I don't even take medication. I don't take any medications anymore. I just stopped taking everything, and I
And
started
that
researching and trying to figure out like what works. I mean, obviously
wow.
everybody's different, but I know that I can read. I learned how to read my body basically. I would learn like, okay, I ate this, I don't feel good. Okay, that's something that's causing me to not feel good. And I start weaning myself off of certain things, and you know, exercise ended up killing everything.
And how did you do that when you were, testing your body? Did you have like a um did you write things down on a piece of paper on how it made you feel, or did you just take mental note?
I just took mental note. I learned to uh, I learned how to be like it sounds weird, but I learned how to be in tune with my body, I guess, and learn how to read it from the inside out.
Wow.
Because if I put in something that made me feel bad, I would notice it right away. And it's
Mhm.
crazy like how your mind can see like what works and what doesn't work. Because your body's telling it, hey, this is not working, this is making me sick, and I would immediately feel it.
Wow.
So
Was there a trick to? I'm just trying to think to the if there's another 39-year-old Ernie out there who's facing that same demon at this point. Your HbA1c is elevated. You're pre-diabetic. Um, how what would you say to that Ernie who's out there today to test things for their body to help them do what you did in a month?
I
And
think with
is there a lot of weight loss contributed to that as well in that 1 month period?
so that's where it began, when I started trying to read my body, because I never dieted. I didn't stop eating. If I
Okay.
wanted a carne asada burrito, I'd get a carne asada burrito. I still, throughout the whole time that I lost all my weight, I never stopped eating. Um, I didn't eat like super healthy besides trying to figure out like what was making me sick.
Okay.
Um, so if, obviously if you're not feeling well, definitely go see a doctor. Definitely go see a doctor because not everybody should do what I did because I did it. I was at the point where I had no other options, and I basically, you know, I basically just said, you know what, I'm gonna try it and I'm gonna see what happens. So uh, I, uh, I would definitely start with doing some research. If anybody has any questions, they can easily talk to me, and I can easily give my recommendations of what I did that worked for me. There's a lot of different herbs, and cinnamon will bring your AC1 down.
Hmm.
There's a lot of things that you can take that you probably have at home that can help out. And there's a lot of things that you have at home that you probably should cut out. If you're diabetic, definitely cut out soda, definitely cut out beer. Uh, Mine thing was to drink beer. I mean, to drink water.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, you
for
were mentioning
me,
that.
I uh, I was a pretty good water drinker at the time because drinking water is not easy, especially trying to get a gallon of water down in a
Yeah.
day.
There's no taste to
And so
that.
so
It's hard.
so I was I just I started drinking water, and so I would drink water before I'd eat, and I wouldn't eat as much because I would fill my stomach, and I would drink water right after my meal. And I started drinking a gallon of water, and before I knew it, I was drinking a gallon of water by lunchtime. So by noon, I would already down a gallon of water.
Okay.
The only thing about the water thing is you got to supplement because you will go to the bathroom a lot, and you will lose all your minerals and all your vitamins that you normally need in your body. That water will flush it out. Normal water doesn't have it. So
Hmm.
there's different supplements you can put into your water. That can give you those minerals back, but you just drinking water to lose weight will you will be in the bathroom a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, it worked. It got to the point where I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna up this. I can drink a gallon of water, no problem right now. I'm gonna do two gallons. And I got so sick, I started dehydrating myself.
Hmm.
And so that's when I learned, okay, now you have to supplement the water. You got to add certain things to it, or eat certain types of vegetables and fruits and stuff like that.
Was that also
But
from the doctor who told you that, or was that
no, I
something
did
you
that all on my
researched? And
own. I
yeah.
did that all on my own. I started, I would still go and do doctor visits, and the doctor was like, "Man, how are you losing all that weight?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Well, I would always tell him, I'm like, well, if I got to tell you, then I'm gonna end up charging you what you're charging me to come see you. Well, why would
Yeah.
I? So I started losing the weight. Big turning point was at my sister's wedding, as you saw in those pictures. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Like I look at myself, a size 55-inch waist. I'm down to
Wow.
a 38. It was a
Dang.
triple X shirt. I was a triple X shirt and down to a regular XL. And the
Wow.
38s fit me a little big. I'm actually like a 37, but they don't make a size 37. So I'm in between the 36 and a 38. But
Wow.
I get the 38s and just wear a belt.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
In this whole time when you're doing the water, you're riding with your brother-in-law. Are you and your son and your brother-in-law are pretty much hitting the trails what 3-4 times a day, or I'm sorry, 3-4 times a week? Is that what you guys were?
During the week, yeah, we started riding a lot. I mean, we got a passion for it that it kind of became our second nature besides regular, to our life. It was like something that we needed in order I mean, we were making plans daily. Hey, where we're gonna ride, where we're gonna go.
I love it.
Sometimes we'd on the weekends, like sometimes we'd ride in the morning, just he and I, and then we'd ride with the family in the evening and throw in another. We would do like 22 miles in a day or whatever.
Dang, getting those doubles in.
Yeah, and then once we started learning the trails and how to get to the top, the right way without killing ourselves, and we started getting into the whole downhill thing. Um, I mean, it's just been a learning progression. It's been a learning progression. We were riding by ourselves at the time, and I started meeting people on the trails and talking to them, but I hated going out on the trail rides. And you see this big group of guys coming down, and you say hi to them and they act like a bunch of a-holes and don't say hi back to you. You know what I mean? Or they just keep
Yeah.
going and ignore you. Or they
Yeah.
come up behind you and then they yell, "Hey, on the right or on the left." It's like, uh,
Yeah.
that was one of my biggest pet peeves for the sport. I hated it. And there's Joe.
Joe Duarte MMA. What's up, Joe? Yes.
So he's a rad
Respect.
guy right there. That's a guy I met out at Greer. And we started talking out of nowhere and became friends. That's the type of people that I relate to. That's the type of
Hmm.
people that I love. That's the type of people that I want to surround myself around with.
Yeah.
Uh,
This
because we would go
community.
on these rides. Yeah, we would go on these rides, and it was just insane. Like, no etiquette at all. And so I was telling my brother-in-law, I was like, we need to start something that we can start something. See, my sister-in-law just wrote that we were never home. We were always out. We wouldn't come home till like 10 o'clock at night sometimes.
You guys got bit by the mountain bike bug. That is awesome.
Absolutely. We were going out to different trails, and then it just progressed to something. I wanted more adrenaline. It was good it was good for my depression. It was good for my anxiety, and it was good for my panic attacks.
Mm,
Being out there, and because I can get a panic attack sitting on the couch and not know like why it started or not.
right.
But then when
Right.
I'm out on the trails and I'm going down a mountainside, and the adrenaline matches what I'm doing, you know what I mean? So I'm not gonna say it tricks your mind to becoming healthier, but I mean it helps to put yourself in situations where you're feeling these emotions,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and not knowing where they're coming from. But when you're out on the trails, I mean, sometimes you're riding and your toes are curled to that pedal because you know you don't want to go, but you go. You do it anyway.
Yeah,
And
I know that feeling.
I can relate to that when I'm sitting on the couch and I get this panic attack. I don't know where it's coming from, and it scares you. It scares you. You overthink it, and you end
Yeah.
up messing your mind up to the point where you want to go to the hospital, or you're laying on the floor for 30 minutes because you're afraid to get up.
Right.
And go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I was saying Virtual Education Collective. This is a great quote here. Flow state. It's a thing, and it's so true. I mean, when you're out on the bike, you're where your pedals are. You're not thinking about your brain's not working on other things. You're not thinking about what's going on 3 days from now or what happened 4 days from now. You're thinking about in that very moment. I gotta go around this rock, or I gotta huck this jump, or I gotta hit the brakes. Like, right? So you don't have a chance to have that anxiety attack, and your adrenaline's up, and you're breathing, your heart rate's up, the dopamine's going, the serotonin's going, and all these good chemicals are happening when you're exercising, when you're out on that bike. So that was a great quote. I just wanted to highlight that. Virtual Education Collective, flow state.
Absolutely.
It's a
And
thing.
it's true. It takes away everything. I mean, you can have multiple issues going on in your life at the time, but like you said, you're focused. You're trying to survive that downhill without
Yeah.
breaking anything. And I mean, at the time when you're out there riding, it's you, your bike, your buddies, and that trail in front of you, because there's no distractions. You're looking ahead. You're making sure that you're getting the right lines, uh, trying to make it down in one piece.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, I mean that's basically what the medication that doctors give patients to rid themselves from all the nasty thoughts going in their head. I mean, going down and riding your bike on a trail takes it does the same thing as the medication. You know what I mean? It
Hmm.
it isolates you, but it isolates you doing something you really love to do.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
I feel that the exercise helps with the diabetes. It helps with the mental stuff,
Mm.
depression. It gets you out of the house, gets you out with your buddies, even when sometimes when you don't want to be out there. I get to Greer sometimes, and I start that climb from the trailhead, and I'm like, why am I out here? I could be laying down in bed at 6 in the morning. You know what I mean? But I see all my buddies with me. You know what I mean? And when we ride, I mean we ride with you know it's a handful of guys. It's not just, it's gotten to the point where it was my brother-in-law and I, two people. And now it's to the point where if we don't have a group that's, 10, 15 plus, it's crazy. It's crazy. And it makes me feel good. Like I'm driving out to go meet these guys for a ride, and I'm thinking is like, all right, which trail are we gonna hit first? We're gonna
Yeah.
hit, overdrive, or we're gonna hit,
Yep.
but and it's cool because the motivation I get from these guys, uh, it's insane. It's insane. Like just meeting people out there, it's insane. I go out to trails and people will say, "Hey Ernie, what's going on? Hey man, what's going on?" And I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't even know who they are. And I'm always just like, "Hey, what's going on?" I try to keep it positive because if they take the time to say hi to me, I'm gonna make sure I take the time to say hi back.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be what I didn't like to begin with
Yeah.
uh, in the beginning.
You're building a community that is what you loved and what really pulled you to it. And that's exactly what I see when I go out there as well. The community, Haley Bernstein says it right here, exercise and community are the best medicine. And when you feel like you belong to that community and that community makes you feel a certain way, like you're thinking like, who am I gonna go out there with? It's we're gonna get stoked. And it's that iron sharpens iron feeling where everyone's making everybody better, and you're progressing on the bike, but you're also, in your case, it's literally spilling over into your health. You're
Yeah.
you're progressing with decreasing your pre-diabetic. You're progressing with the weight loss. I mean, it's just you're building all this momentum, and to see that picture from I think it was 6 years ago to the picture that you had with your oldest son is just truly an amazing accomplishment. And I know you're probably not done yet, right? This is where
I mean,
where
this as far as trying to lose more weight, I just kind of just letting it go naturally.
uh-huh.
Um, like I said, I never really dieted, but um, I just love the way that it's happened. I could be more happier with losing weight and still being able to eat a carne asada burrito. I
Love
just don't eat
those.
the whole
Gotta love
burrito.
those.
I just don't eat the I just don't eat the whole burrito nowadays. But it's the taste and not going without something that I like.
Yeah,
Um,
and carne asada burritos, those always feel they fall into the keto diet.
oh yeah. Just open up the yeah, eat the inside. So
uh,
yeah, so that's how my whole mountain bike experience started.
wow.
And with that came the group. I named it Transcend because if you look up Transcend in the dictionary, it basically says to put yourself above and beyond, to transcend yourself, to actually put yourself into a better being. Uh,
Mm,
and I think Transcend for me, that's why I believe in it so much, is because it has helped me transcend to a new person. Basically, I went from weighing as much as three people,
yeah,
to getting down to almost one person. You know what I mean? I'm still over 200, but I mean I'm happy where I'm at. Uh,
yeah.
all the guys that started, Frank, one of the guys in the group, Frank Padon, that guy, he was one of the first members to be in the group. Alfredo Nunez, he was another one of the the guys in there. We even adopted an old guy on the trail. His name was Dan, and we'd call him Old Man Dan. But this old man could climb. He had some iron legs. He wasn't too sure of the downhill, but we got him to do some jumps that I curled my toes when he did it because I was afraid maybe he'd eat it. But he was out there and he was doing it. He was with us. And so start a group in Facebook, name it Transcend, and people started joining.
Wow.
Uh, I've never really invited anybody besides being out on the trails or being out at the parks and mentioning, "Hey, I got this group. You should check it out." The group grew, and it's to the point where we're at over 1,600 members
Holy cow!
and
Is that
and
is that a
growing.
nationwide group now,
So we
Ernie?
have some writers. So we have a writer out in Massachusetts. So this guy, his name's Rob Offrey. And so Rob, he came from the East Coast. It was around Thanksgiving time a year, 2 years ago, or maybe three. And he found the group online, and he asked if we would show him around. So he rented a bike and all that stuff, and we took him. I mean, at that time we were riding PQ. You know, that was like we were doing tunnels and on the backside and
Tunnels.
doing
I
the
love
power
it.
lines and stuff, doing the power lines and all that.
Yep.
And
It's North
so
Hill
we
over there.
yeah, so we became friends, you know, and just from that one meeting, just from meeting him that one time, we became friends, and we talk online sometimes. And you know, I work with the U.S. Navy, and so there's a few guys at work that ride, and one of our guys, he ended up going to the East Coast for some schooling. So I hooked him up with Rob out there, and Rob took him riding out in the snow because it was during the winter. And
Okay. Whew.
it's, you know, it's a connection that we made here, but it translated out to the East Coast. And we have other people. We have guys out in Arkansas. We have guys in Oregon, and
Wow.
basically from the border to LA. You know, there's guys out there. We even have one of the guys, Chris Retta, one of the guys. He's a big part of the group, and he lives out. He's a border patrol agent. He's out in El Centro, and that guy comes out every weekend and rides with us. You know, it's a
Wow.
2 hour ride, 2 hour drive. You know,
Yeah. To get all the way from El Centro here. Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah.
Do a lot of the folks who join, do they know your backstory? Yeah. Do they
So
maybe
so
suffer from
not.
something themselves?
I don't think everybody does, but every now and then I will make a post and just put it out there because I mean the main reason that this came about was because I wanted people to ride with. I wanted to be around people. I wanted to be on those large groups that I would see on the trails. I wanted to be a part of that. I couldn't keep up,
Yeah.
and so I decided, well, if I can't keep up, I'm gonna build one. I'm gonna build a group. I'm
Build
gonna
that
build a
door.
group and surround myself and adopt. You know, never leave anybody behind. We've gone on trail rides. You know, we've gone on trail rides to Greer, and we'll split up the group with, you know, the fast riders go up to the top, and then the slower guys will take the new guys up and, you know, take them up safely and bring them back down safely. But we get up to the top, we take our big group picture, and then everybody goes down there. You know, the fast guys shred going down, and you know, we take the slower guys down, and we make sure we call out all the features coming up ahead and get them used to and accustomed to how to do the downhill.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
I feel like nobody should be left out. I don't care if you riding yesterday and you're on a Walmart bike. If you want to be out there, you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
It's not a culture in the group to be uh, to have a big ego. You know what I mean? We have some shredders in the group. I mean, we got guys in the group that are like, I don't know why they're not pro. You know, these guys should be doing some serious racing or some serious exposure stuff. And then we got guys that, you know, got on a bike yesterday. And if they want to come ride with us, obviously I'm not going to take a guy that started out to like some gnarly trails, but you
Yeah.
know, like our Wednesday ride, you know, anybody's welcome. Doesn't matter if you're slow. If you're slow, you know, I'll stay behind and make sure that you ride with somebody and
What
make sure you know the trails.
do you announce that? Is that on your Instagram for your Wednesday night rides?
Most of our posts they go through Facebook. We
Okay.
do
And
it
where
through
can
we
people
do it
find
through
you there on the Facebook? Is it as well Transcend MTB?
Transcend MTB, yeah, and
Okay.
and that's where most of our ride posts are made, and it's become such a big community. I mean, a lot of guys will hit me up and they'll say, you know what, I met the best people on mountain bikes, and now we're like super good friends, and I never would have thought I would have made such good friends in the mountain bike community. And I mean, we got groups riding. I mean, last weekend we had people out at Greer, we had people up at Sky Park, we had people out at Noble Canyon. There was a big Noble Canyon ride. Chula Vista area, they throw their own rides down there. I mean, it's just kind of like every weekend or midweek we'll throw a post and be like, hey, where the ride's going to be this weekend, and then people start throwing in the, you know, where they're going to be, and then if people want to join, they start their own little group and they do the rides for the weekend there. Um,
Wow.
it's crazy. It's crazy, like the amount of emails or text messages that I get of people saying, you know, I was at the point of, you know, suicide, and I joined the group and turned me around. I
Wow.
was, you know, I get messages from people and they say, you know, I was ready to give up, and just seeing your story posted, it made a big difference, and I want to give it a shot.
That's
And I
awesome.
always post it out there because there's a lot of guys in the group that have gone through what I've gone through, and they can speak from a personal stance.
Hmm.
And you know, if any, I always put it out there. If anybody needs to talk to somebody, they need to go for a ride. They need to just meet up with somebody. I mean, don't be don't be afraid to reach out. If you need something, reach out, because doing it on your own, it's hard. It's
Hmm.
hard to carry that weight up that mountain, you know what I mean? But when you're with your buddies, it's easier because they're there to support you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow, what a metaphor too. With mental health and depression, it is like carrying weight up a mountain. A good metaphor for the mountain biking, and it's so much easier, or not easier, but it's a lot better if you can have a buddy that you can call upon and just have them listen. Or just know that somebody's there for you.
Sometimes you just need to get it off your chest.
Exactly.
It's just to get that weight off, and this year 2020, I mean, has brought on so much weight for people, myself included. I mean, I just did a reset just a couple of weeks ago where I kind of got off the social media for a few weeks,
Yeah.
because I needed it. I needed to reset from the negativity. I needed to reset. My body was starting to feel like I was carrying that weight again,
Hmm.
and just every now and then you need that reset. And then I came back, and we can move forward for the rest of the year, and move forward with a clear mind. Uh,
Yeah.
it's hard when your mind's not right at the time, and you're trying to take on all these different projects. You're trying to take on you know other people's issues, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work well. You know what I mean? Your body hurts a lot from stress too. I mean, it reacts
Hmm.
to from stress. Sometimes you need that little reset time,
Hmm.
whether
Hmm.
it's a vacation, or even if you're at home during these times. Maybe get off the TV and get off the internet for a little bit, and or maybe take a hike. Do some what I call soul searching, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's true. It's that stress and anxiety creates cortisol, in your body, and that makes you feel all funky. And when you exercise and you move your body, it helps metabolize that and get that out of your system, as well as all the endorphins and everything that flow through when you're moving your body. So I got a good friend who says motion is lotion, and
yeah.
it's really true to get out there. Um, we got let's see, there was a couple folks, and I wanted to go down this road because it sounds like you have a creative side. There's been a couple people in here who have mentioned that you design some pretty dope graphics. So what's the story behind? Are you do you design the Transcend MTB logos and things like that? Is that
Yeah,
you?
I
Is
do
that you?
the merchandise stuff. So when I was fresh out of high school, I wanted to be a graphic designer. So I went to school and became a graphic designer, did my thing for a few years. But in San Diego, it didn't work out. And so I ended up getting picked up by the Navy to work on. So I applied to work on the CH-53 helos,
Okay.
and a buddy of mine that I played a buddy of mine that I played softball. He would fill in for me sometimes, but we played softball, and I went to high school with him, and he told me, he goes, apply. He goes, you got a little bit of background in fabricating. My wife will help you make the rest of the resume, So she helped me out, did the resume, and I put it in, and I didn't hear anything for like over 6 months.
Holy
I'd
cow.
forgotten all about it. My son was just born. I was working at a publishing company at the time.
Okay.
The publishing company was closing down, and so it was only a matter of months before they were gonna basically close down, and there's gonna be no more work there.
Hmm.
And so I get this call. They say it's the Navy. They say, hey, show up at this place. You're getting a physical and a drug test. I said, okay. So I go, pass my drug test, pass my physical, and they said, okay, you're going to be in the F-18 program. And so I had applied for this, for the helos,
For the
because my
helos.
buddy was there. My buddy
Whoa.
was there. My buddy was going to be the one to take me under his wing and show me how to do the work and stuff. And I ended up in another program with F-18s, and I didn't know nothing about
Dang.
aviation. I didn't know nothing. And so I go in there, and there's a lot of guys that are my age, at the time, and they like to party. They come in hungover, and I start thinking, well, if this is going to be a career, I need to figure out how to do the work. And so I start getting with all the old timers there, and
Smart.
I'm always been pretty easy to get along with my coworkers and stuff like that. So uh, they take me under their wing, and as long as I do what they tell me, I'm good. And so I got into so in the Navy, they have what they call the Filipino mafia. And so
Okay.
I landed with the mafia myself. And so
Oh.
I mean, it was a crew, and my supervisor at the time, his name was Ernie Chavez, and he was an older guy. And basically, long story short, it turned into the whole Mr. Miyagi thing, where I
Wow.
would do all the hard work. I'd be on the belly of the plane doing all the hard drilling on the titanium, and then I would be on the backside of the plane. Before I knew it, I was all over the plane. And so every time it was like time to put in the fasteners or the easy stuff to do, the older guys in the group would come in and do all the easy work, and I'd get pissed because I'd be like, dude, I did all the work, and now I can't
Yeah.
even do the. Now I gotta go drill something else.
Yeah.
And before I knew it, I was all over the plane. I knew the whole plane, front and back. And one day I get all mad, and I'm like, dude, you don't like me, you're racist, blah, blah, blah. You don't like me because I'm not part of your crew. All you do is make me do all the hard work. And he goes, he turned it around, and basically it was the whole wax on, wax off thing, where I start throwing kicks and punches, or he
Dang.
does, and I start blocking everything because he's like, well, do you know how to do intakes? Yeah. Do you know how to do the back after the plane? Yes. Do you know how to do, the belly of the plane? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, so tell me where you didn't learn something.
Wow.
And
Jeez
and
Louise.
and immediately I felt that small,
Yeah.
because this whole time I feel like he doesn't like me. And in the meantime, he's teaching me something, and I was so, you know, uh, I was so cocky that I wasn't even able to see it.
Yeah. You thought
And
you were being
and
taken advantage of in a way.
absolutely, I thought they were using me. But little did I know is, he was prepping me so that when he left, I was able to take over the project of that plane. And so
Wow.
it was cool.
That's cool.
It was
Yeah,
cool
you knew
because
the whole thing.
most people that were working there, they would work on one thing only. So if you were an intake guy, you were just working intakes. That's it. That's all you did. Day
Wow.
in, day out.
Wow.
Because I was moved around everywhere, I was able to do any part of the plane that they needed. And so it was kind of crazy. It's kind of cool story because uh, the whole time I'm like hating this guy, and then in the end, it turns out, all he
He
was
was
doing was
teaching.
making me a better. He was making me a better worker, a more knowledgeable worker. So
Wow.
it's kind of cool.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, that was my working for the Navy there, and then I ended up moving on to nuclear submarines, and that's where I'm at now. But it's uh it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I've had a crazy life, you know,
Yeah.
which is only getting better now. I mean, it's kind of like a roller coaster. I hit that bottom dip, and I kind of hung out there for a little bit, but then that roller coaster wheel started rolling again and bringing me back up.
That's right.
Uh,
It's right. You're never stuck. You're never stuck unless it's over. But it's
yeah,
over. It's
and
never over if you keep on chucking. So
it's been a crazy ride. It's been a crazy ride.
yeah, it's such an inspirational story. Hearing, you know, where you've been, all of the different things that you've had to overcome, and what I see and what I hear is mindset. There's always been something that's kind of like taking you down there, but then there's been the mindset opportunity where something clicked, and you started doing the research on your own, started listening to your body, started getting to exercise. Luckily, you were exposed to mountain biking through your brother-in-law, and then you nabbed up a community, which is such an awesome community that we have. And
Right.
You nabbed them up, they nabbed you up. I mean, rolling 1,600 people deep, Transcend MTB.
It
That's
grows so fast. It grows so fast that sometimes it's overwhelming. I started doing the graphics for the group. People wanted shirts, they wanted jerseys, and so I put it out there. And obviously it's a little hard when you're a smaller business trying to produce items like that because we're not like Troy Lee where they order thousands of. It's harder, but the support that these and they really show me that they want this group to be a successful group and not just be something that is good now and then will shut down years later. I mean, we've been going on almost 3 years now,
wow.
and it's grown organically. I'm not really pushing to grow super fast because I feel like when you do something like that, it kind of takes away from why we started. I mean, this group started for support. It started to never ride alone.
Hmm.
uh, to be able to have a feel for it too, because that's one of my biggest things is having like a community of family. If I go and I want to ride in Laguna, or if I want to go ride at Noble Canyon, I got somebody that knows the trails and can go out there and is willing to ride. And
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, we got guys on there that aren't the best climbers. They aren't the fastest downhillers. I mean, I'm not a master rider by any means, but they're all willing to stay. You know, uh, they're all willing to take us and stay with us. As to where I've been with some people that they tell me, yeah, they left me behind, or they didn't like it because I was slow.
Mm.
Stuff like that. I mean, we don't just we're not going out there for a race. We're going out there to have a good time. We're going out there to get our minds right. That's why
Yeah.
our Wednesday ride is like a midweek, mind reset for everybody to get out there and meet up with everybody. Uh, so this guy right here, this is Jeff, and
Jeff.
Jeff is a ex-Marine. He's one of the downest brothers in the group. So down that
Ninjas.
we named him the mayor
The
because this
mayor.
guy is known. He's known by everybody. This is one
Ninjas
of this
like
is one of the
adobo.
this is
Transcend
one of the
MTB.
boys.
Transcend
This is one of
MTB
the
has
boys.
been there for me. Being a Marine combat vet, I've had some ups and downs, and Transcend MTB has been there to pick me up and push me up the hill. Dude, that's freaking awesome. I love
Everybody
it.
knows this guy. This guy, he's
Wow.
one of the brothers in the group, definitely.
Oh, look at they're
But
already blowing it up. The mayor.
the mayor, he's known as the mayor. I mean, everybody knows him. Everybody knows.
He has a really nice garden, Joey says. Oh man,
He's at
bro,
he rides Greer every morning pretty much.
that's awesome, man. It's so good to be exposed and to have a large group like this to be exposed to it. And you guys obviously push each other. You guys stay together. If somebody wanted to join the group or go out with you, is there any formal way of doing it, or just kind of show up?
No, just they see a post one of our rides for wherever we're gonna be, and they want to join. They just, hey, I'm what's the pin drop? Where do we meet?
Okay, okay. How
And then
cool
and
is
then
that?
obviously we do some rides where if it's a more advanced ride, that's kind of posted on behind the scenes, that
Okay.
way, it's it's uh it's more of a tighter group at that point that can handle whatever they're going to go ride, because we don't want to put people in danger either.
Right. Sure.
And
Absolutely.
that's the good thing about the group is that it doesn't matter what skill level you are. If you want to go down jumping mouse, you don't have to hit the jumps. You could still hit
Right.
the trail and go around every single jump and still be with us.
Yeah. Still
So
have a
we
good
never
time.
we never we never pressure anybody. uh, we do cheer you on, and we get you to get out of that comfort zone sometimes, but we'll never be, if you're not ready for it, we're never going to be the ones to say, oh, you wussed out, or you don't belong in this group. Never.
That's
Never,
awesome.
because I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't ride with all these guys. you know
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
be where I'm at. I mean, my brother-in-law and I always laugh and joke because up by Big Waimea at PQ, there was a small gap, and back in the day, we would catch all the speed to hit this gap, and I mean, literally, the gap is no bigger than a foot probably, and probably was the height of a curb. And every time we get to that point of going off of it, we'd stop. And so we always joke and we always talk about going back and redeeming ourselves because now it'd be like nothing, yeah,
Yeah. Now you bunny
compared to
hop
all the
it,
stuff
right?
compared to all the
Here
stuff
we,
we've done.
here we go. Dakota Bomer says, I found these guys on the trails next to my house, and they were the most chill and welcoming MTB riders I've encountered. Been riding with them since. That's
Yeah, we met
awesome.
Dakota. We met Dakota at a trail we have up in Temecula called TPP. So Kylan in the group, uh, he started digging up there, and Joe's all pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah, I love that. Joe had me up at TMB upper and lower, the TMB DH, and I was freaking out. And he goes, "Hey man,
Yeah.
pressure makes diamonds." I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go. I'll do it.
So we were talking about Dakota. We were at this place called TPP. So it was named after Kylan named it, and he named it Transcend Progression Park. So
Oh,
TPP,
sweet.
Transcend Progression Park. So there was a few little jumps when we first started going there, and then now there's like actual trails there. But we're waiting for the rainy season to continue digging. But that's where we met Dakota. He was there with his dog and his wife at the time that they were there, and he was kind of quiet, but we met him there, and he's been with us ever since. Super rad guy,
That's
super rad.
cool. That's
He's about
really
to be
cool.
he's about to be a daddy too. So congratulations
Oh,
to him.
oh yeah, that's the best job in the world right there.
Same with this guy
Congratulations.
right here, Danny right here. This guy's a killer on the trails, man. We took him out to Snow Valley and we hit that new jump line. And one of the guys in the group, Mike Shirley, towed him in. And this guy rode it blind and made it all the way. He was one of the first riders in Transcend to make it all the way to the bottom with all the jumps.
Wow.
Super rad dude too.
He sounds like a ripper. That's for sure. See, I mean, this is great about the community that you have, this group. You know everybody, you know what's going on in their lives, and that's so important to be a part of
It's
that.
personal to me. It's personal. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, Danny just became a father as well. And uh, I don't know. I feel like they're like family, like
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on with them. I want to know like, hey, how's the kids doing? How's your baby doing? How's, everything going? Everything's going good. It means a lot to me to have that kind of friendship because my wife's got a lot of good friends. She's got her girlfriends, and they meet up during the week and they go and they'll have dinner, or they'll go and do the jacuzzi at one of her friends' backyards or whatever. She has that kind of friendship amongst women. I feel women have a lot of friendships like that, and men are more kind of reserved, and they're like reserved to like just having like a few set of friends. And
Mm.
having this group, I mean, I think I have the best friends, I mean, I could ever have. I
Yeah.
have way more friends than my wife, I know that for sure.
Yeah. Well, 1,600 of
So
them just in this group alone.
and everybody's just cool. So they're putting out the murder hawk. So we have a little tradition of when somebody eats it on the trail, they blame it on the murder hawk, claiming it's victims.
Claiming its victim, the murder hawks.
The murder hawks, man. We have so
Damn.
many cool things. We have a guy in the group. His name's Kenny Herlock, and we were out at Sky Park, and he was doing that session jump at the bottom. And
Mm.
later on in the day, he did it when he had done it a few times, and then it ate him up, dead sailor. And I mean,
Oh,
he's lucky. He's lucky that he walked away, and the injuries that he had were the minimum that because it could have been worse. He had just bought the Fox Pro helmet, that pro helmet that they made,
yeah.
and he completely destroyed it. I mean,
It
if it
cracked.
wasn't for the helmet,
Jeez.
I don't think he would have survived. And so
God.
one of the guys in the group, Chris, he does a Kenny Award. So
There it
weekly
is.
people will post their crashes, and then we have so Liad has been good to us, and they've given us discount codes for safety gear, shorts, whatever they make. And so that's part of the prize for the Kenya Award. And during the week, people get discount codes. We've been working with a lot of companies. I like to stay local because it's a loyal thing.
Yeah.
It's loyal to stick to our roots and support those that have supported us. Throughout the way. We have in-house mechanics that reach out and are trustworthy mechanics that we can go out and we do a lot of work with there's Road Dog Cycles. We have a
Wow.
guy that was building wheels for the group and using like the nice stuff. It wasn't like cheap components or anything. He was doing it right. Guy Hunter, and he ended up opening Spoke X up in Temecula, Murrieta area.
Okay.
And so he was able to open up a store. He was opening up the shop.
Wow.
He's got, he does you know uh, wheel builds there. He does bike sales there.
Okay.
Uh, I mean, it's crazy. Like, not just helping us out, but we're able to help out like small businesses that during this whole epidemic thing, I don't think some of these guys even skipped the beat because we gave them enough work with all the big shops, being months out for repairing anything, and these guys can do it in a day or two. You know,
Mm, that's
Obviously
huge.
you're gonna want your bike as fast as possible. You're gonna go to these guys that are able to put your bike back together and fix it or do whatever they need to do to it. And
If so,
on top of that, they offer us good discounts, and good work that we end up coming back to them.
that's awesome. If somebody's listening to this either live now or in the future via the podcast or on the YouTube channel, how would they be able to find those folks and help support them as far as if they needed some bike work or new tires or anything like that?
So they post up in the group. We don't allow just anybody coming in and posting. We do have a Transcend marketplace. So we made a Transcend marketplace because we didn't want all the sales and any kind of that type of transaction stuff going on through the group, because the group is mainly to talk, to post rides, and you know to post, sometimes we'll post videos to inspire people and stuff like that. So we did Transcend Marketplace, Transcend MTB Marketplace, and that is a side uh, page that uh, it's a side page where you could post anything you want to sell. You want to sell a dropper post, you could sell it there. You want to sell a bike, you could do it
Gotcha.
there.
And
And
it's
another one of the good things about the group is, like, sometimes people will post and they'll say, "Hey, I'm looking for a new bike." I mean, we got guys that'll go through, I don't know, the woodwork to find deals on bikes, and then
wow.
just put them out there and say, "Hey, check out this bike," and then they help out, trying to figure out if the components are good and if the bike's really worth it, because when you're out there buying something used, you're pretty much out at your own risk.
Right.
But having the knowledge, I mean, there's so much knowledge in this group. You ask one question, "Hey, how do I fix this?" Or what do you think's causing this? I mean, immediately you'll have a response, and everybody's
Wow.
willing to help. We had a guy, I think he had lost his job, or something had happened, and he had a frame laying around, but he wanted to keep riding. He had to sell his bike or something like that. And
Oof.
everybody started giving him parts,
Oh
and
man.
he had enough parts to rebuild a bike,
No
and be
way.
back out on the trails. And I myself, I like to pay it forward. Sometimes I'll upgrade my bike, and I'll get extra stuff or whatever. And I'm not trying to make a buck, but I will
Yeah.
trade it for a carne asada burrito and a michelada. And I've had guys like my old set of wheels. I posted them on there as a trade, and I had a guy from National City come up, bring me my burrito, and
No
he took the
way.
wheels. And I've done that. I've done that with bike stands and stuff. I mean, it's a it's a pay it forward type deal. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, we don't want to we don't want to rip people off. We don't want them to feel like, oh, they're just using me, or anything like that. Everything here is it's across the board legit with friendship and the love for riding bikes.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome. Yeah, here's one here. Brady Solderland says, "What I love about this group is no matter your skill level, everyone gives you tips and tricks to progress into a better rider."
yeah,
Yeah.
I love watching him post his videos in the group. He's been hitting a lot of big jumps, and it just makes me feel good to see like, okay, when he started, he wasn't doing that. Now it's like he's pushing and he's getting better. You know what I mean? Like it's good to see that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, hey, and speaking about like businesses that we support. So since you live out of Murrieta, you said,
Yes.
uh, you got to get out there. You got to get out there. There's Derek Wong in the group,
Okay.
and he owns a donut shop out there, Wong's Donuts.
Wong, I
If you
saw
don't
that here in the chat. Here we go.
if you don't know
Wong's.
Wong's Donuts, you're missing out, bro.
Okay.
Wong's Donuts.
I will
Wong's
check.
Donuts. Get out there and oh my God, that's the guy right there, Derek Wong.
Yeah.
He owns
Uh,
he owns Wong's Donuts out there, man. If you guys want some good donuts, you got to get out to Wong's Donuts when you're out at Greer.
Derek, I'll come and check you out next time I hit Greer. I'm here in town, so um, if you are on the chat, go ahead and throw that address out there. I'd love to be able to check it out. And then,
Derek, put the address out.
so we're a little over, we're almost at an hour and a half now. So I wanted to wind it down a little bit, but before we did, I just wanted to I wanted to ask you if you had any advice for, with everything that you've been through, and here you are on this other end, and such an inspiration to all of us. We all have things in our life that we have to overcome. We all have things in our life that we feel like maybe we can't get better at, or that kind of haunt us, and you're living proof that you can move towards those things, even in your darkest hour. If you had the opportunity to go back and talk to the 39-year-old Ernie today, what would be some of the things that you would say in that discussion?
Oh, I would definitely now knowing what I know about surrounding myself with good people. I would say surround yourself with good people. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to get out and push yourself. Uh, if you're having health issues, obviously you want to make sure that you're healthy enough to do the mountain biking and or hiking out there. Um, we want to make sure that you're able to. But if you're going through these things, put yourself out there. Don't sit back. I mean, life is short. I mean, I wasted so many years of my life stagnant, not doing anything, worrying about stuff, not really putting myself out there because of the fear that I had. And I wasted a lot of years. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm 45 years old now. Uh, Life is short. I could die in 2 weeks. You never know. But, if you put yourself out, you start doing the things you love to do, you surround yourself with friends. When you surround yourself with friends, you continue to network with and become a bigger family connection with. Um, don't waste time. Don't waste time. I wasted so many years of my life uh, in fear.
Wow.
And if I could go back, I mean, I wish I would have started mountain biking when I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who knows where I'd be? I'd be doing some sick stuff.
Yeah.
But even the stuff that I do now, it makes me happy. You know,
That's the best.
it makes me happy to just even be able to get to the top of Greer, the hike part of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's no
Absolutely.
shame in hiking your bike. There's no shame in that. Even when I go to Sky Park, I make it a point to hike at least one lap up, because I'm able to enjoy the views of the trees and the stuff going on around in the scenery. Because when you're riding your bike, sometimes you don't really pay attention going up
Mm-hmm.
and you miss a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
But, when I go to Sky Park, I try to make it a point to at least walk one of the climbs up, at least one, so that I can enjoy viewing the trees. We don't have that kind of stuff here in Southern California where we're at, because it's mostly, dry brush and rocks. But when you
Mm-hmm.
get out to the mountains, enjoy the view, enjoy the smells that are out there. Sometimes you're in the early morning when you get out to Sky Park. There's these smells that come off the trees because there's dew on the trees.
Mm. Yeah. Taking it in.
Take
Taking
yeah,
it
take it
in.
all in. I mean, we're not guaranteed a full life, so
Mm-hmm. So don't waste
that's
time. Yeah.
don't waste it. Don't waste it.
Man, that's
I wasted
awesome.
enough years of my life where if I could go back, I would be more adventurous. I would try more things. I wouldn't be more reserved and allow my life to be stagnant for so long.
Man, very powerful. God, ladies and gentlemen, very powerful words of wisdom there from our man here from Transcend MTB. Don't waste time. And that is so true. It reminds me of this motivational quote by Les Brown. He just says, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. And we all know, if we look at our bank account, we all know almost to the penny how much money is in there, but you can't look into your life and know how much time you have left. So,
Exactly.
powerful words there, Ernie. Don't waste time. If you have a dream, go after it. If you feel that you want to be more adventurous, do it. Just get out there and go after it. Live that full life. I love everything that you said, and I really appreciate you being on the show tonight. You are definitely an inspiration. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, look, no, thank you. And hey, let everybody know, either live or in the future, if they're listening to this in podcast version, how can they get a hold of you, or where can they find you and follow you? What social media outlets are you at?
So you can follow me on Instagram, transcend underscore MTB. You can also follow me on Instagram as SD Ernie, ERNIE. That's my personal account. That's where you'll see all my artwork and stuff like that. And you can follow us at Transcend MTB on Facebook. Just shoot me a text, shoot me a message. I don't care how, my door's open. Uh, you need to talk, you need to just face to face with somebody. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I'll be there. There's a lot of guys in the group that are there to support as well. Um, See me on the trail. Be sure to say what's up. I'm definitely gonna say what's up back. Uh, and like I said, just don't waste time. Don't waste time window shopping. If you're in the group and you feel like uh, you're not ready to be on a group ride, think about it again. You are. There's always somewhere we can go that can meet your needs. Uh, and the only way you're ever going to get better is by riding with better people. And that's always said across the board from rider to rider. It's a big
Absolutely.
saying, it's like anything else. You surround yourself with people that are better than you, you're always going to be moving ahead.
I love it.
Uh, yeah.
I love it.
So don't hesitate. Reach out about anything. Doesn't matter. I'm here.
Love it. Love it. So those are the places you can find Ernie. And lastly, I just wanted to put this out there to help support the group. You had mentioned merch. If somebody wanted to purchase merch to help support the group, where would they find that? And
So merchandise we have right now. I just had delivered were new hats. So I got hats coming out. Tech shirts. We're doing gloves soon. I've been working a deal out with that, trying to get us the best prices, because that's another thing about merch is I find it hard to pay $40 for a pair of riding gloves, that look like they cost $10 to make for less than that. So
preach.
that's one of my big goals is with the merchandise for Transcend MTB is to try to get the best prices. The bigger that we get, the more orders that we put in, the better our pricing gets.
Yeah, bulk
So
orders. Yeah.
being a startup, we're at the mercy of the vendors, right? But I feel like it's going to get better. Support local, support. As best as you can. You want to ride and get a shirt. We got shirts coming out soon. We're gonna have a big barbecue coming up in November. Be on the lookout for that. We're gonna have a lot of merchandise in there. It can only get better. It's kind of a learning game for me because I never really thought I was gonna be running a business with merchandising, and so there's been some growing pains along the way, but I feel like things are getting better. Opportunities are opening up. There's going to be opportunity for stuff to be available in certain shops, uh, and that's where we're at with merchandising. It's kind of
Wow.
like get it while you can because it goes fast. As soon as I get it, it's going out the door.
Wow.
It's kind of hard to keep around. So the more we do that, the better and bigger we'll be, and more merchandise will be available.
And the money from the merch, does it go back into investment back into the group for, things like placement within shops and bigger orders for lower prices, that type of stuff?
So that's where the money that is made goes right back into more merchandise. Because when I started, I didn't take out a business loan or anything like that. I took out from my own bank account and started it that way. And I did all the first jerseys. We call those the OG jerseys.
Oh,
Uh,
gee, Jersey, I love that.
but unfortunately, we get, there's so many people joining now. They want the OG jersey, and it's like I did one reprint of it, but I kept it at that, and then the next jersey will be new. But um, the uh, the the first jerseys we did pre-order only because it was hard for me to just pull everything out of my bank account and then throw it in and not know what was going to happen. So we did a pre-order, and then from there we turned that money around and we used it for other stuff. And right now, I got more hats, doing a whole new style hat color and different color tech shirts, and working on some socks too. We did sock run before, and everybody wanted to know, but we're trying to find the best companies so that we could get the best product out there. We don't want to just find a company that's going to give us a cheap price and then give us really, cheap merchandise. We want the stuff to be top quality. You know what I mean? I want the best for the group, and that's where we are with merchandising and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want these guys to get for me to just be like, oh, a quick money scheme and make money. Now I want people to get good quality. I like feedback. Do they like the gear? Because if they don't like the gear, then we got to find a better company to work with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, and it sounds like they got the right guy on it. I mean, that'll be a cakewalk compared to everything that you've accomplished and been through. So,
Oh my God,
so
it's a breath of fresh air. I'll tell you that.
yeah. Oh, um, did I lose you? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Something happened to my computer here. Sorry, everybody, about that. But on that note, we'll go ahead and close it out, and just really thank you again, Ernie. I really appreciate it. Transcend MTB represented. You had a lot of supporters on this broadcast tonight. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the interaction, the questions, and the support for Ernie. And Ernie, thank you for the inspiration. It seems like the biggest takeaway is just go. If there's anything that you need to do, go. If you need to talk to somebody, go talk to somebody. If you need to find some professional help, there's nothing wrong with that. Go find professional
Nothing
help.
wrong. It's okay to not be okay.
That's right. It's in fact, you're not alone. There's a lot of us in that same boat, rowing with half an oar. So we're all in it together. And I look forward to getting out with you guys. I definitely want to go on a group ride with you guys. And
Absolutely.
I appreciate everything you've done. So thank you so much, everyone. Everyone have a good night. And Ernie, hold on backstage real quick. Thank you guys. Have a good night.